Since you guys were so interested in Brian's mystery ball python project, I figured why not walk you along with me as I actually try to prove out what kind of genetics are actually going on this year in this. I have been busy cataloging all of the different snakes that we have and that we've produced over the years, and now getting them all into this rack over here. So I figured I would just take you guys down the journey this year of what I'm gonna do breeding wise. Let's start over here with this rack here. These were all the animals that I was showing you in that last video that we had produced that were marked keep, so I was able to actually identify them. So I spent a lot of time this weekend going over all the egg data books, making sure I knew which clutches, and honestly the biggest thing is knowing which males produced all of these, and there was a lot to go through. It took me a long time, but I'm happy because here I am and I have it kind of organized. I have run into a few issues, and let me talk about that with you. So the first step is actually going through the whole group that I have and figuring out which males I'm going to breed with which females. After several hours of actually reorganizing, classifying, I came up with problem number one. I figured out which males fathered every single clutch that I have these keepers from. The problem is, after going through the books, he has actually 4 mystery males. When I'm going through my racks, I only have 2. So obviously he had male numbered 1 through 4. I went to look through my male. I have number 3 and I have number 2. And so here they are. This is number 3 and this is number 2. While they look a little bit similar, they definitely have some different traits going on. Definitely this guy has a lot more pigment on it. He's got that really cool neck pattern that we saw in some of the babies. This one is giving me much more lemon blast vibes. The pastel is coming out a lot more. So at least I know which 2 babies these guys fathered. Now as far as the other ones, I'm gonna have to make some decisions of what exactly to breed them to since I don't have those other 2 males. So I'm trying to figure this out right along with you guys. And I know when I showed these babies here that had that really cool white patterning on the neck, I had that mystery male number 2 that had that similar marking, and I just assumed that was the male that produced these. But going through the egg data books, that's actually not the case. This clutch here was actually produced from male number 4, which I don't have anymore. But they clearly are expressing the same kind of traits and stuff too. So my thought would be, if I'm gonna pair these guys up with somebody, any of the females out of this clutch here, I would probably go ahead and breed to that male number 2 and see what comes out of that. And the confusing part is that Brian being Brian, he bred this mystery gene into a lot of different other genes. So it wasn't like he just stuck with one. I know Pinstripe was the first one, but going through these egg data books, crazy females that he bred these males to threw a lot more genes in there that makes it a lot more complicated for me. So what I did by figuring out what those males are is trying to discern what genes are in those animals depending on which females they were bred to, right? Okay, you got to do the reverse math on this. So I do not have male number 1 and I do not have male number 4. So when I went through all of these here, I do have a male that actually looks like it has more of the lemon blast look to it that came from male number 4. So even though I don't have number 4, I have the genes in here for that one. So that's gonna help me maybe pair him up with some of these other ones that are also maybe fathered by that male number 4 to kind of concentrate those and know at least I'm dealing with like genes in there to also see what is mystery, what are these other genes, right? So I'm gonna go through these other ones and try to do the same thing. While most of the stuff that's a holdback is going to be a female, I do have a few other males too, so that might help me with trying to figure out what's exactly going on here. Here is one of the other males I have, which actually is pretty cool and exciting because this is a male mystery, but it was also fathered from mystery to mystery. So it actually has the gene coming at it from both ways, which is really interesting, and it tells us a lot about what's going on. We definitely have a lot of the similar things that we're seeing with that crazy pattern, the crazy head pattern. So having this male that has that dual mystery gene in it, he's kind of a powerhouse, I think. So deciding what I'm gonna breed him to, I'm gonna have to make sure it makes a whole lot of sense and potentially can unlock some of the mystery Can't believe I said that. In this mystery ball python. So these two females here were actually fathered by male number 2. The cool thing is I have this male, and I like the fact that I definitely know the genes that are in here. You can see the black pastel, you can see the pewter going on in here, and even some pinstripe. So that's really cool. Reading these guys, back to the male, I think could be very, very interesting to see what exactly is going to pop out of these. Also, maybe seeing what this mystery gene is doing to that. Now, these guys here, you can see this one has very little bit of showing what's going on mystery wise. You just got a little bit of dissipated pattern. This one shows a little bit more, but now the male is very extreme that produced these. So breeding these back to the father should actually show some pretty cool results. Now this is a pairing I think I'm definitely going to do. So this is another male that I found that definitely is showing that lemon blast gene. Now this guy is also from male number 2, but you can see he doesn't seem to have that black pastel or pewter look into it. It just strictly looks more lemon blasty. So this female here is actually our adult female mystery, and she looks very similar to him. So why not pair these two together and see exactly what pops out of these babies? I do have a couple that I'm labeling pinstripe mysteries. They really just seem to show that just to have the pinstripe gene in them, but also a little bit different where it has that mystery gene in it. So I have a couple of these females. Now I'm just thinking, what if I just bred a male to them that doesn't have a whole lot going on, just to see, instead of breeding more into it, what if we breed less into it to see how that gene expresses? So I'm trying to look through my males. I don't have a lot of really normal plain Jane males, but I do have one that maybe would work to breed to these females. Now this guy here is actually a pinstripe, red stripe, and I think maybe some vanilla in it too. So yes, while it does have some things going on, they're pretty basic. They're not kind of crazy genes. They're ones that are easy to tell and to see. So this is probably going to be the easiest one for me to maybe breed to these 2 or 3 females here. We may see some cool stuff, or maybe we won't, but I'm thinking something like this might make a good match up for these couple girls. While some of these, I think I want to go a little bit less genes to see what happens. Why not make it fun and just add some more genes? I've got this Super Lori Leopard, which honestly is very cool. Definitely one of my favorites. I love what the two of these two do together. What if I just pick a female or two and throw this at them and see what comes from that? I mean, Brian would be happy with me making it more complicated, right? So that's kind of where I am right now as far as the mystery project goes. I've got an idea, and with the next couple days, I'm actually gonna move these guys into the breeding groups that I'm gonna do. Once I have that all figured out, I'll go ahead and I'll show you guys and keep you updated on that. But you know what? We had another special project that Brian also had that wasn't something that was proven out too, and that's the pumpkin gene. I have some really cool ones from that project that are definitely ready to breed this year. Last year I didn't do too many. This year I have potential to breed a lot of them. Let me show you some of my favorites that I'm excited about. The thing that I really love is putting this pumpkin in the cinnamon gene. Man, does this do pretty things. So this one here would definitely be what I would consider a cinnamon pumpkin. Now you can see how pretty and how light and all that blushing is there. Let me grab you what a normal cinnamon would look like and show you the difference. This is something that is really cool. I don't know if you can tell in this big knot of ball pythons. So I've got one that looks like a normal cinnamon, and then you've got that pumpkin one. Now side by side, look at the difference that gene is making. It really gives it such a pretty hue. There's been a couple other things that he had already bred it into. I think I've got some Enshi, some pinstripe too. My favorite so far is the cinnamons, and I've got a really good group of these that I'm definitely going to be breeding this coming season. Brian wouldn't be Brian if he didn't make things really crazy. Of course, he had to add a lot of genes into this line as well. This one here is an Enshi pewter pumpkin. It's really hard to say. Obviously it's super light, it has a lot of stuff going on, but also Enshi is a really good cleaner, so that's going to brighten stuff up. You can definitely see the pewter in here too, but again, more things that I have to kind of breed to see what's doing what and decipher how much is pumpkin, how much is just the other genes. But again, all part of the mysteries that I'm left to find out. Well, I really did downsize BHB. I did keep a handful of things, and one of those things are some really cool rainbow boas. This here is a T negative albino male Colombian rainbow boa. So this group I'm keeping. I kept the T positives and the T negatives. I have started putting males in with females because now is the season. So we're breeding these. We're breeding children's spotted pythons. What else do we have? Now, one thing I'm definitely going to be breeding is our Kenyan sand boas. These guys have been along, honestly, longer than my kids have been around. We've been working and breeding these. So, of course, I'm going to keep those because they're near and dear to my heart. Let me show you. Unfortunately, I've got some really cool ones that a guy had donated to me. They're not quite big enough this year, but definitely next year. Let me show you those. Now, this here is a Paradox Ghost. So actually, this is a male, and he definitely is big enough to breed. So I don't know. Maybe I will throw him to a normal or an anuary and get some double hets. The female is not quite big enough because you saw how big the other one was. Females really should be much bigger before you breed them. We really don't want them to get bound up or anything like that. But this is a very good sized male. But how cool is that? I've always loved a really good paradoxing. These guys are so pretty. And honestly, way back in the day, we used to produce these. And so when I was at that Tyler Reptile show and he offered to give them to me just because, that was so sweet. And so honestly, I can't wait till we can produce these guys once again. I definitely don't want to try to breed these. We've never really had good success doing it. And honestly, we have all we need boa-wise for the Reptarium. So that leaves me a handful of really cool boas, just like this guy here, that are going to be going on the website. So if you're looking for a really cool pet or something to add to your breeding group, go ahead and check out BHB Reptiles and you can find yourself a really cool pet. Like this one. Or like this hypo Hog Island boa, or like this gorgeous motley leopard. I mean, I'd love to keep them all, but honestly, she just doesn't really fit into what we have going on. But she's a gorgeous animal that I think could do really great things in the right person's collection. Or like this very feisty, always wants to move, cool male Guyana red-tailed boa. And while I've had normal Colombian rainbows for a very long time, I really think it's just time for us to move out of this project. So I have a really good group of adults ready to breed. Those are available on the site as well. Now, I've already went through leopard geckos and kind of figured out what we're doing breeding there. The last thing that's left is the new cow room. And honestly, this is one that's near and dear to my heart because I have always loved these since they first came out on the market. So of course I was right behind Jessica as we started expanding and doing this. So now that Jessica's not here, I need to decide what we're breeding to what. So that's my next project. And honestly, I'm really excited to where we're gonna go with these. I think these are gonna be one that will always be very near and dear to my heart. I mean, come on, look at these things. They are just the cutest things ever. It's like a big giant pickle with eyes, right? As crazy as it is, and it kind of feels like one too. But these guys are so cute, personable, vocal. Sometimes they can be cranky, but honestly, they just make awesome pets. So I am super excited to see what babies we get next year with these. I do have a couple leechies that are actually available and on the site, and they're actually really big. I mean, this is definitely not a baby. This is a female, so it may be a little on the small side for a breeder female, but honestly, you're more than halfway there. So if you want to grab that chance to grab a really cool pet or breeder animal, you better do it quick before I change my mind, because as big and cute as this is, I might decide to keep it. This is one of my breeder males. He's a little bit feisty and very vocal, but he wanted to make sure to tell you to check out our Black Friday sale. It's going on now all the way through the weekend, and you can get some really great deals on some really beautiful animals. Kind of like him too.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, there's a playlist that you can watch all kinds of videos. You can also hit that subscription button. It would mean a lot to me. Also, hit that like button while you're down there. Have a wonderful day, Reptile Army. Remember, be kind to someone, and I promise I'll see you in the next one.